How often, I wonder, since the pandemic began, have you heard yourself saying, I just can't wait till we get back to normal? I know for me it's on average of about twice a day. We all want to get back to the lives that we were living before the virus struck. We miss normal things like having people over, children going to school, hugging people, worshipping inside the church. I found myself this week missing planning things. I just wanted to sit down with my diary like I enjoy doing and put in a couple of fun trips. We can't wait for 2020 to end and normal life resume. And it was in that context that I read the two lessons set for this week, and I found them to be challenging what I thought of as normal. They prompted me to ask the question, what exactly is normal? Who defines normal? What does normal look like to God? And does my vision of normality cohere with his? Look at the Beatitudes that we heard in our gospel reading with which Jesus begins his wonderful Sermon on the Mount. And I have often understood these in the past, like many others, to be a sort of be-attitudes. This is how you have to be in order to earn God's favour. But what I noticed about them as I read them this week is that there's nothing transactional about them. The Beatitudes don't contain a single should, ought, or thou shalt. The Beatitudes are not commandments or moral injunctions. Jesus simply lays them out as a description of reality. Jesus is saying, this is how the world works. This is Jesus' normal. Of course, it's a very different understanding of normality to the one we see and experience in the world around us. We live in a world dominated by the loudest, strongest, wealthiest, and most privileged. We live in a world where greed and selfishness pay big time, whilst meekness, mercy, and mournfulness earn little more than contempt. We live in a world where securing my own ease and comfort is my right. Let the rest of creation be damned. In the Beatitudes, Jesus claims that the poor, the marginalized, the meek, the hungry, the merciful, the pure-hearted, the peaceful are blessed. They are the fortunate ones. They are the ones whose lives are aligned with the heart and character of God. They will experience comfort and inherit the earth and be filled, receive mercy, and be called children of God. Jesus' normal is a long way from the world's normal. So the real question to ask about the Beatitudes isn't, have I worked hard enough to earn God's blessing? Rather, it's, do I trust Jesus' version of reality to be true? Do I really believe that Jesus' description of the normal life is enough to test my version against it? And Jesus in his wisdom is very aware of the disparity between what he's setting out as normal and the world's normal. He addresses it in the very wording of the Beatitudes. Blessed are they, for they will be. The language is prophetic. It looks towards the future. It bridges the present and the future, the now and the not yet, the kingdom that is and the kingdom that is coming. The blessing is here, God's favor is now, but the fulfillment, the perfection, still lies ahead. And this is where our second reading from that mysterious book of Revelation comes in. What we see in the passage from Revelation today is a glimpse, a rare glimpse of heaven. In John's vision of eternity, the curtain is pulled back, and what is usually hidden is unveiled. And on this All Saints' Day, it's good to be reminded of the hope of heaven. What we get in this passage from Revelation is an image of the saints in heaven, worshipping God in heaven's throne room. It says, they worship God night and day within his temple, and the one who is seated on the throne will shelter them. They will hunger no more and thirst no more. The sun will not strike them, nor any scorching heat. For the Lamb at the center of the throne will be their shepherd, and he will guide them to springs of the water of life, and God will wipe away every tear from their eyes. This is happening now. When we worship, we're joining with the great company of witnesses who are already worshipping God in heaven. I struggle to remember this sometime, but I was helped recently by some sunflower seeds. I bought a very large packet of sunflower seeds because I read that they were better for me than the nuts I like to nibble. And I munched away on them for a few days. Then I said to Laura, these pumpkin seeds are okay, but they're a bit chewy. After you've chewed on a mouthful for a bit, it's just like eating bark. And she said, well, you have taken them out of their husks, haven't you? I said, no, I've just been throwing handfuls into my mouth. And she said, well, no. You need to take the husk off before you can eat the seed that's inside. How often are we satisfied with just chewing on the husk of life without enjoying the seed that's inside? All Saints' Day is a day to remember that this material world, the world we call normal, is not all that there is. There's a deeper, richer, eternal reality to be enjoyed. A spiritual realm which is already inherited by the saints who have gone before us. Our material world, our normal world, is not all that there is. So on this All Saints' Day, let's pause and reflect on what we think of as normal. And as we slowly return to the new normal, may that new normal be for us more closely aligned with God's normal. Amen.